She was one day away from her birthday. She was a first-year law student, 23 years old, smart, hardworking, and headed somewhere on the night of January 18th, 2001. She left the law library at the University of Georgia. She never made it home. The next morning, firefighters found her body inside her burning apartment. For 23 years, no one was ever charged. Her mother waited and waited, and then in 2024, the silence broke. My name is Savannah Cole, and this is what they left behind. Most of the stories I tell you on this show end the way this one began, with silence, with a family still waiting, with a question that may never be answered. This one is different. This is the story of Tara Baker, a young woman from East Point, Georgia, who went to law school at the University of Georgia in Athens and was murdered just one day before her 24th birthday. For 23 years, her case sat cold. Her killer walked free. Her mother stood in front of cameras year after year, asking the public not to forget her daughter's name. And then in May of 2024, 23 years later, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation announced an arrest. This is a story about how long justice can take and what it means when it finally arrives. My name is Savannah Cole, and this is what they left behind. Tara Louise Baker was born and raised in East Point, Georgia, a community just outside Atlanta. She graduated from Lovejoy High School in 1995. From there, she went on to Georgia College in Milledgeville, where she earned her undergraduate degree. Tara was smart, she was driven, and she had her sights set on a career in law. In the fall of 2000, Tara enrolled as a first-year student at the University of Georgia School of Law in Athens, one of the most respected law schools in the South. Being a first-year law student is one of the hardest things a person can take on. Long nights, endless reading, the kind of pressure that tests whether this is really the life you want. Tara was doing it. She had made it through her first semester. She was building the foundation for everything that was supposed to come next: a legal career, a future, a life she had worked her entire young adulthood to reach. She was 23 years old, and she was one day away from turning 24. On the evening of January the 18th, 2001, Tara Baker was at the University of Georgia Law Library, studying like she did most nights. Around 7:30 that evening, a friend saw her there. About 2 hours later, around 9:46 p.m., that same friend received a phone call. It was Tara. She was checking in to make sure her friend had made it home safely. Tara told her friend she planned to leave the library around 10 o'clock. That was the last anyone heard from her. Tara never made it home, or if she did, she never left again. The next morning, January 19th, 2001, at approximately 11:20 a.m., Athens, Clark County, firefighters responded to a fire at Tara's apartment. Inside, they found her body. It was one day before her 24th birthday. Investigators determined quickly that this was not an accident. The fire inside Tara's apartment had been set intentionally. It was meant to destroy evidence, to cover up what had happened to her. It did not work. Court filings would later reveal what investigators found. Tara had been beaten, her face bruised and swollen. She had been strangled, She had been stabbed. She had been sexually assaulted. The only thing taken from her apartment was her laptop computer. Whoever did this knew what they were doing. They tried to erase the evidence with fire, and they tried to erase Tara's digital life by taking her computer. What they could not erase was the truth, but the truth would take 23 years to surface. The Athens Clarke County Police Department opened a homicide investigation. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation and the FBI got involved. Tara's case received attention from state and federal authorities from the very beginning, and still, year after year, there was no arrest. The case went cold. For more than 2 decades, Tara Baker's case remained open but unsolved. Her mother, Virginia Baker, never stopped speaking about her daughter, never stopped asking the public to remember her name, never stopped hoping that somewhere someone knew something and would eventually come forward. In 2023, the state of Georgia passed something called the Coleman-Baker Act. It was named after 2 University of Georgia students whose murders had gone unsolved for years, Sue Coleman and Tara Baker. The law was designed to give cold case units more resources and support to revisit cases like Tara's. In September of 2023, the GBI's Cold Case Unit partnered with the Athens Clarke County Police Department to conduct an in-depth review of Tara's case. They went back through everything, the evidence, the files, the decades-old details that no one had been able to connect, and this time, biological evidence and DNA science gave them what they needed. On May 9, 2024, the GBI announced an arrest. The man's name was Edric Lamont Faust. He was 48 years old. He lived in Athens. Investigators said there was no known connection between Faust and Tara. He was, by all accounts, a stranger to her, but records showed Faust had a long history with Athens Clarke County law enforcement. Less than a month after Tara was killed in 2001, Faust was arrested and pleaded guilty to aggravated assault for cutting someone's neck for 23 years. The answer had been right there in the system, waiting for science to catch up. Edric Lamont Faust was charged with 12 counts: malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, aggravated sodomy, burglary, tampering with evidence, and first-degree arson. The trial took place in Clarke County and lasted 2 weeks. The jury deliberated for just over a day. They found Edric Lamont Faust guilty on all 12 counts. He was sentenced to life in prison. At the press conference announcing the arrest, months before the trial even began, Tara's mother, Virginia Baker, stood in front of a large photo of her daughter and spoke through tears. "I'm Tara's mother," she said. "I always will be Tara's mother." She said she was so grateful for the arrest, and she told other families who are still waiting for answers about their own loved ones to hold on to hope. GBI Director Chris Hosey said it plainly. Tara's life was stolen from her in a horrific act of violence. While this arrest does not bring her back, I pray it helps bring closure to the Baker family as they continue their healing journey. Tara Louise Baker was 23 years old. She was 1 day away from her birthday, 1 semester into law school, 1 step into a future that was just beginning to take shape For 23 years, her name was attached to a question with no answer. That question has been answered now, and because of what happened to Tara, because of the law that now carries her name alongside Sue Coleman's, other cold cases in Georgia will get a second look they might not have gotten otherwise. Other families may get the answer. Virginia Baker waited 23 years to hear Tara wanted to be a lawyer. She wanted to spend her life inside the justice system, fighting for people. In the end, the justice system fought for her. It just took 23 years to get there. I am Tara's mother. Virginia Baker said, I always will be Tara's mother. Remember her name. This has been What They Left Behind. I'm Savannah Cole. Not every case ends like this one, but this one did. To Virginia Baker and to every family still waiting, hold on to hope. I'll see you next Sunday.